he accepted that. And there's the introduction of JV Insanity. But, and there's the introductions, and referee Ward Wilson's calling for the bell here. We'll get our match underway. Remember, Mountain State Wrestling is here on Network West Virginia every Monday night at 8 o'clock. So tune in and don't miss the program, because particularly after the matches we had last week, it's just completely unpredictable what's going to happen here. And there's that's a really close to a near fall there by JV Insanity. And, as you can see, once again, scientific wrestling and, Mountain State Wrestling has the premier wrestlers in the state of West Virginia on the independent circuit. And, when you see the marquee that says Mountain State Wrestling, and you see Mountain State Wrestling on your TV program, you're going to be seeing the best wrestlers that West Virginia has to offer in the ranks of professional wrestling. And there was didn't get a lot of elevation on it, but a drop kick by Brent sent JV Insanity outside the ring, and now both men circling each other once again. Quick tie up, JV Insanity gets an arm bar right there. Brent with a nice reversal into an arm bar. JV Insanity once again reversing to the hammer lock. Brent trying to reach around there. He does a hammer lock, drop toe hold. And there he pulls his leg back, and he's kind of got a, I guess he's been kind of working on this, because looks like he's got a little bit of a hammer lock there. He's got a leg scissors around the leg, and very impressive. There's a couple of chopping forearms to the back. And there, Brent went to try to shoot him into the turnbuckle, and JV in his hand, he reversed it and did it. There's another reversal, and Batten with a high backdrop. JV Insanity crashing to the canvas.
Yes!
And I'm here to tell you that does the lower lumbar region of your back absolutely no good at all. Once again, Insanity, a little quick recuperation power there. Anyway, there's a test of strength. Both men in the middle of the ring, and I don't know about JV Insanity, but I know Brent is. He got in the gym and he paid his dues in the gym to get where he's at right now, and I just have a feeling that's going to end up paying off. Now he's bridging back, and I can tell you from experience that's not easy to do. Once again, another drop toe hold. There he ties up the legs, and you want to keep your partner down on the mat, or your opponent on the mat. And then you take the legs out from under him, snatch him there. He spins around, front face lock. And once again, a very good reversal by JV Insanity. And I had the opening match here on Mountain State Wrestling tonight. This has been very competitive, and if you tuned in last week, you got a real good taste of Mountain State Wrestling and the abilities of the wrestlers that we have here, and you're not going to see this kind of wrestling anyplace else but right here on Network West Virginia with Mountain State Wrestling. JV Insanity snatches Brent up, slams him, then he rakes those fingers across his back. A little leverage here on the hair, throws Batten's head into the turnbuckle. Irish whipping opposite turnbuckle, and Brent slams that upper back right into that top turnbuckle. And there is padding there, but I guarantee you hit it with enough force, it hurts. And there's a blatant choke by JV Insanity. The referee Ward Wilson giving him the count. And there's a double underhook suplex, well executed by JV and Sandy, but kick out at the count of 2. Actually, it's about probably 1 3/4, but 2 nonetheless. Still, Brent needs to get up on his feet. JV and Sandy, once again, with the rear chin lock. Coming to you, Mount Hope, West Virginia this week, and there's a lot of great wrestling fans here in Mount Hope. It's a town that my brother and I lived in for several years, and my mom and dad lived here for many years, and there's a lot of memories here in Mount Hope. But Brent makes his way up to his feet. The fans here in Mount Hope getting behind him, a couple elbows. JV and Sandy drops down. There's a big sunset flip from Brent, but JV and Sandy manages to grab hold of the ropes and break the hold. And there was a clothesline coming off the rope by JV and Sandy, and I don't think Brent was ready for that, because it just didn't look like he was ready for that. Snapmare by JV and Sandy, and there's a kick in the back. And Brent looks like that took the wind out of him a little bit, but manages to kick out at 2. There's a backbreaker by JV and Sandy. He didn't look like he got full leverage on that drop down on his knee, but still it does the, basically you're hitting in the kidney area, and you don't want any damage to that particular area right there. And this looks like a sort of a version of a Cobra clutch. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is, but it could be considered a submission hold. But Brent manages to back out of it. Now he ducks under. There's a belly-to-back suplex. And Batten finally manages to get that situation. And now both wrestlers down on the mat. Referee giving them the 10 count. They have the count of 10 to get up to their feet. Now both wrestlers back up to the feet. JV and Sandy comes running in. And he gets backdropped over the top rope, but there he is up on the top, climbing up to the top turnbuckle. And there's Brent with a big slam off the top rope. He's going to get up on the rope one more time. And a drop kick off the top rope, which just happened to be a signature move of his dad and uncle. But there's the 1, 2, 3. So the winner of the opening match this week with a flying drop kick off the top turnbuckle, Brent Batten. We'll be right back with more Mountain State Wrestling right after this.
Fans, with Mountain State Wrestling, it's hard to tell whatever you're going to see here when you come to these matches. War Machine, what happened out there?
6'6", Big Dan Richards, one of the biggest men in Mountain State Wrestling. You are nothing but a stepping stone for the War Machine, because I'm back, and I'm here for one reason only, my heavyweight championship. Danny Ray, you know the man who brings the pain is back. You better pack your bags, hand it over to me now. You're gonna feel the pain and hand me that belt. Because the man who brings the pain, the War Machine, I'm the one, I'm the new champion.
Fans, we'll have more wrestling right here on Mountain State Wrestling right after this.
Where you see one, you'll see the other. Is the nasty boys out of Waco, Texas, the Bunkhouse Boys. I believe Big Willie Blackheart's the one that's going to be competing in this match. And, where you see one, you see the other. But having been a tag team wrestler my whole career, there's not a whole lot of single matches that I had in my career as a wrestler that my brother wasn't close by either, so speaking for myself, I can't fault the Bunkhouse Boys for that at all, as long as they keep it legal. Getting ready to make his way through the ring. Big Willie's opponent, the other half of Mountain State Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Derik Billings. And I can definitely understand his thinking as far as bringing his tag team partner out here to watch his back during this match, because they've proven week after week the Bunkhouse Boys, they don't believe in scientific wrestling, they don't believe in following the rules, they don't believe in anything but beating up people as bad as they can, and they don't care what kind of style or what kind of method they have to use to get the job done, so to speak. So it's generally the philosophy of the means justify the ends.
West Virginia,
Referee checking out both opponents here, so they're both competitors. And
come here, Ref. I'm gonna tell you something too. Come here. Hey, no, big boy. Don't get back nothing. Huh? I'm getting back. What? The bell ain't rung yet. I ain't heard no bell.
Big Willie sitting there carrying on a conversation with the referee. That is one thing I have noticed about the Bunkhouse Boys. Of course, the obvious fact, these are big guys, and don't be confused by the fact that maybe they're where these guys have their size at really isn't where you would normally think for big guys. But I mean, these guys are rough, tough customers, as he proved right there. Chad Billings, he's not a small man by any comparison, but Big Willie just pushed him off like he was nothing, and of course, you all have to remember out there that right now, Chad Billings or Derik Billings, Chad Cross are the current Mountain State Wrestling Tag Team Champions. So, and their biggest, and the guys that are wanting those belts around their waist are these Bunkhouse Boys. So. It just seems like every week the situation between these two teams just kind of keeps building. And personally, from an experience standpoint, I'm just waiting for it to really bust loose. But right now, Derik Billings with the armbar on Big Willie, and Big Willie manages to reverse it. And there's a duck under, and there, nice reversal, very nice reversal by Derik Billings. And great fans here in Mount Hope like what they see at this point. There he's got his man down when he's on the canvas, drops a leg on that arm, and it appears early here on this matchup that Chad and Derik have chosen that left arm. It particularly seems maybe that right tricep or the left tricep bicep area start to administer a little bit of damage to try to slow these big guys down. As I said, this is a single match between Derik Billings and Big Willie. So, Big Willie got his partner outside the ring watching his back. As always, Chad Cross outside watching Derik back. So, things should stay somewhat fair here. At least we'd like to think 1-on-1, but if it comes down to it, at least it's 2-on-2 and not 2-on-1. Anyway, Big Willie over there complaining once again to the referee. And once again, another collar and elbow tie. Big Willie just rakes those big old fingers across the eyes. Billings. There's a shot to the top of the head. He shoots Billings in the ropes, and that was a vicious clothesline coming off the ropes. And I guarantee you that slowed Billings down, and that elbow to the top of the head, I guarantee slowed him down too. So right now, Billings a little bit on the receiving end of some punishment via Big Willie of the Bunkhouse Boys. Willie gets his man up on his feet, and boy, that really surprised me. Shoots Billings outside the rope, grabs the referee's attention at just enough time to give his opponent, a bandit, an opportunity to take Derik's head. Well, actually, it was his shoulder that hit that turnbuckle post, but I'm telling you people out there, that hurts, and Billings is in serious trouble right here. And their backdrop coming out of that turnbuckle, and you don't normally see that out of Big Willie, but he goes for the cover, but Derik manages to have the strength and energy to kick out of that. Only got a 2 count. Once again, the Bunkhouse Boy back to the rear chin lock. Fans here in Mount Hope, they're trying to get behind Billings. Chad's out there cheering him on too. And I have a feeling that's not going to be the last time we see a trip outside the ring in this match. But, once again, another trip to Derik's on the outside, and there's the bandit. Looks like he took a little tape off his wrist there and started choking Billings with it. And, I have a feeling eventually the governing board of Mountain State Wrestling is going to have to either assign 2 referees whenever the Bunkhouse Boys have a match, whether it's a single or a tag, because they're both out there anyway. But that's just too much of an advantage they give, and they'll take advantage of any chance they can get an advantage over their opponent, whether it's by legal or illegal means. They've proven that they will do. There's an Irish whip in the turnbuckle, and once again, Big Willie distracts the referee. And by golly, Chad Cross had enough, and he comes in the ring. And now we've got chaos in the ring because Cross is in the ring, the bandit's in the ring, and I don't know. I just had a feeling that there wasn't. This was eventually going to happen. You just can't get 2 teams that really dislike each other like Chad Cross, Derik Billings, and the Bunkhouse Boys do, and have them in the same ring. And hey, Chad managed to pull off that cast, and now Derik's going to work, and he's going to work on that forearm, and now I think, I don't know, Chad, he's brought a chair in the ring, and my golly, I guess it's time for the Bunkhouse Boys to get a little payback, and I think there's a big shot on that arm, and oh boy, I tell you, this is great. Big Willie, these last couple weeks complaining about that, injured left arm, left forearm that he had to have a cast on and all that stuff. And, he complained, but he still used it. It didn't seem like it bothered him. So what does Chad Cross, Derik Billings do? They come out in a way that just really, I have to give props to them. And they got out there, they got the cast off there, saw it wasn't what it was supposed to be, so they just obliged the Bunkhouse Boys to go ahead and damage it for sure. And that's exactly what Chad Cross, Derik Billings, Mountain State Wrestling Tag Team Champions did. They might have lost this match, but I guarantee you a psychological warfare between these 2 teams. Right now, you got to give the advantage to Chad Cross, Derik Billings. We'll be right back with more Mountain State Wrestling here on Network West Virginia right after this.
Fans, right here, Mountain State Wrestling. A lot of good action coming up. Adorable Danny Ray from Chapmanville, West Virginia. Hey, Bob, what are you thinking about being here in Mount Hope Community Center in Mount Hope, West Virginia?
I'm going to tell you what, we had to follow a snow plow in, going to have to follow one out, but these people out here, man, they're coming out in droves. The crowds are getting bigger because they know what the best in regional wrestling action is, and that's Mountain State Wrestling. And God bless every one of them. You know, they support us. We're going to support them by doing the best we can, the best shows, the best matches. Hey, it don't matter. It's all about them people out there. That's how I got this. And people got behind me. I won this belt. And then anybody out there, there's a long list. You know, I was looking around a while ago and I noticed some cars from days gone by. And just sort of looking around, and there's a guy looked a little bit like the War Machine stepping out. Well, you know what, War Machine? Hey, big boy, this belt's got a long lineage, a long title, all the way back to APW. It's the same belt. It's the Mountain State title now. And I know how close you are to this thing. Hey, you know what? If you want to hook it up, War Machine, bring it on. Johnny Blast, Kris King. Oh, Kris King, you're going to get it tonight, big boy. You want to put up your title against my title? Hey, it don't matter. Taking all comers. It don't matter. Me, Chad Cross, Derik, hey, bring it on. All of them. Come on down. Get you a little bit.
That's right, fans. You heard it here. Mountain State Wrestling title match tonight. Danny Ray against Kris King.
Welcome back to Mountain State Wrestling, and making his way to the ring. Very familiar face, at least to the fans here in Mount Hope, is Big Dan Richards. Dan's out of Richmond, Virginia, and once again, he's another one of the competitors here in Mountain State Wrestling that I've had personal ring experience with, wrestling Dan quite a few times in the squared circle, and he is a young and up-and-coming wrestler, but you know, very, he's a big guy. Can't put it any other way. You know, I can honestly say he has come a long way from the first became a wrestler, and now making his way to the ring is a very, very familiar face, not only to Mountain State Wrestling fans, but fans here in Mount Hope also. Out of the underground, it is the War Machine. The War Machine and the Batten twins. There's definitely a history there. It's always great to see Machine getting in the ring and competing. I guarantee you, I think this is going to be another outstanding match. The first two matches tonight here on Mountain State Wrestling have just been very competitive, and it's just going to get better. And there's War Machine introduced, and we're getting ready for the ring announcer getting out of the ring. Referee Ward Wilson sounds the bell. There's the bell. And the match has started. Like I said, every Monday night, 8 o'clock right here on Network West Virginia, you'll see the best in West Virginia independent wrestling, Mountain State Wrestling. There's a collar and elbow tie-up, and both opponents just kind of push off of each other. And once again, collar and elbow tie-up, and as you can see, Dan Richards, there's not very many matches he has where he gives up height. Very, very tall competitor, but on the other hand, War Machine trying to get these fans here in Mount Hope fired up a little bit, but you know, War Machine he's no small competitor by any stretch of the imagination, and I just think that this is just an unbelievably competitive matchup here on Mountain State Wrestling. Once again, the opponents tie up. War Machine snatches the arm bar right there. There's a little twist on that, just put a little extra leverage. Anytime you're working against a taller opponent, and this is a voice of experience talking here, because not very many nights my brother and I got in the ring where the opponents we were wrestling were our size or smaller. So, you know, you have to utilize the little physics, I guess, in that, and you have to try to figure out what leverage points you can gain and try to maintain that leverage as much as you can. But War Machine turns that arm bar into a hammer lock, and Big Dan Richards, nice reversal there, step back, reversal of the arm the hammerlock rather, and War Machine ducked under, and once again he returns it. Now he snatches into the side headlock. Like I said, War Machine, he's a veteran of the wrestling ring wars, and particularly here in Mountain State Wrestling, he's just he's been around as long as Mountain State Wrestling's been around. He's been champion a couple times. He's a great competitor, a personal friend of this TV announcer, and he's just a good guy to have around. But there's a nice shoulder tackle coming off the rope. Big Dan Richards, headlock takeover, and both men down on the mat. Big Dan Richards has secured that headlock there, and really this is kind of working against the War Machine as far as the leverage advantage goes, because you got the big man down on the mat. It's basically your size, but right now War Machine is in the predicament situation, but he manages to work his way back up to his feet. Both wrestlers back up on their feet now. Referee Ward Wilson making sure that there's no chokehold there, that there's no cutoff of the oxygen supply to the body of the War Machine there. War Machine throws off Big Dan Richards. Richards drops down, steps over him, and when the War Machine turns around, another headlock takeover. And I have to say that last time I saw Big Dan Richards in action, shall we say, he just wasn't exactly following the rule book, but so far at this point that I can honestly say this has been as scientific match as I've seen in a long time. And I mean, this is what professional wrestling is all about. It's about holds and counter holds. It's not about who has the best looking girlfriend, or it's not about this or not about that. It's about the bottom line is it's about who's the best wrestler, and that's what Mountain State Wrestling is all about. Only the best in West Virginia independent professional wrestlers will you see here on Mountain State Wrestling every Monday night on Network West Virginia. Once again, both War Machine backs his opponent into the rope, and he drops down. And there is actually a surprisingly well executed drop kick from Big Dan Richards that definitely took me by surprise, but it had to take the War Machine by surprise. But the War Machine goes down from that drop kick when he gets up. Once again, Big Dan Richards going back to the headlock takeover. Once again, he has War Machine in a pinning predicament down on the mat. I just can't tell you just how, particularly from such an old fogey like myself, it's just very pleasing in this day and time to, see guys that are in the ring, professional wrestlers that are in the ring that are actually out there wrestling and not talking on the microphone and not doing things that have nothing to do with wrestling. You'll see here at Mountain State Wrestling is wrestling. And there, War Machine shoots his opponent off. Richards the tackle. There he drops over. There he jumps over him. A leapfrog. And once again, there, War Machine finally cuts off Big Dan Richards with that well executed belly to back suplex. And I tell you, I just can't say enough about the wrestling that I have seen in this match tonight, and really in every match so far here on Mountain State Wrestling. And there was a brutal clothesline to Big Dan Richards from the War Machine there in the corner, and I guarantee that took the air out of Big Dan Richards. And there's another double forearm. There's another clothesline by the War Machine. Once again, Big Dan Richards kicks out, and War Machine grabs him in the rear chin lock. And I think he's trying to. War Machine still has that rear chin lock. And referee Ward Wilson asking Big Dan Richards if he wants to get up. And, this is, I have to admit, this is, haven't seen it. There's a nice elbow quickly off the rope by the War Machine, Dan Richards, and once again another 2 count. But this has been an unbelievably well wrestled, competitive match. Eventually, you expect to see the cheap shot or the choke or something like that. But I can honestly say that this is one of the first matches I've seen in many a times, and many a year, that there has been absolutely nothing but there's a legal kick to the chest by Big Dan Richards, and now War Machine is back down. Now both men feeling the effects of this hard battle that both men have given 100%, and there Big Dan Richards. Now there's a couple of punches right there, but that's just the competitive nature coming out in both guys. And there's a splash into the corner, and War Machine is down. Big Dan Richards gets his man up, and once again comes up with a very impressive drop kick from a big man like Big Dan Richards, but only manages that 2 count. Gets War Machine back up on his feet. And there is the veteran experience of War Machine. Big Dan Richards thought he had things going his way. War Machine grabbed the top of that head, put the chin on top of his head, dropped it down. And that jarred the noggin of Big Dan Richards, and there War Machine managed to grab a hold of the ropes. Dan Richards going to well one too many times with the drop kick. There was no War Machine there, nobody. And I can't believe I just saw what I just saw. I have to admit, I'm just totally. War Machine definitely had this TV commentator full. I don't know if you wrestling fans got a chance to see that, but he reached down in his tights. It looked like a foreign object. It could have been brass nuts, could have been anything. But when he was in that hole, he hit Big Dan Richards and back. Richards went down. War Machine managed to secure the 1, 2, 3. And I guess War Machine has changed his ways. I have a feeling perhaps we'll find out in the weeks to come. Once again, the winner of the match, War Machine over Big Dan Richards. We'll be back with more Mountain State Wrestling after this message.
Guys, a lot of great action in here on Mountain State Wrestling. Matter of fact, Kris, King, Alaskan, what happened, guys?
Well, everybody saw that I had Danny Ray pinned in the middle of the ring until you had to stick your nose in my business. What's the deal with that? What are you doing?
What you don't seem to understand, without my help, you couldn't beat Danny Ray.
What are you talking about? I had him pinned in the middle of the ring, and you had to stick your nose in my business. You don't even deserve a title shot.
Why don't you shut your mouth?
Fellas, we're fighting amongst ourselves. Don't you see here? If we join forces, maybe you can't beat Danny Ray. Maybe you can't beat Danny Ray. Maybe I can't beat Danny Ray. But the 3 of us together, we put our heads together on this, the 3 of us together can take care of a lot more than just Danny Ray.
Welcome back to Mountain State Wrestling right here on Network West Virginia. Making his way to the ring, the Mountain State Light Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Kris King. Apollo's on his way to the ring, and his opponent on the second match of this hour of Mountain State Wrestling is going to be a wrestler that I believe wrestling fans out there will know who he is. It's Kid Apollo.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head.
Sounds like
They'll tell you
ACDC
what
out
to
here
do
in the
in life
background.
instead
That's usually
everything
Kid
you
Apollo
know that
comes
you
out
can
to.
get.
So
Don't let them guide your life towards regret.
second match of the
I'll
evening,
fight for what I
Kris
love with
King
every
versus Kid
breath.
Apollo.
My past is filled with things I
I
won't
promise you,
forget.
this is going to be a very,
I use
very
them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down.
excellent wrestling cards in the past weeks here on Mountain State Wrestling, and this week is definitely no exception.
Lightweight heavyweight title holder, Kris from Charleston, West Virginia.
Kris King out of Charleston, West Virginia. Usual reception for wrestling fans. And there's Kid Apollo, so we'll... And this is for Kris King's light heavyweight championship belt, so once again, what can I say? You only see the best right here at Mountain State Wrestling in Network, West Virginia. And this is a title match that would be a main event in any place here in West Virginia. Kid Apollo comes up with the early advantage with a wrist lock, and there's a reversal by Kris King into a hammer lock. Kid Apollo's trying to find a way out, but now King gets him into a side headlock. Apollo backs him to the ropes, shoots him up. Vicious tackle coming off the rope by Kris King. Apollo drops down. Kid Apollo leapfrog, and a beautiful, beautiful executed arm drag coming off that rope. And you know, if I had one move that I could freeze frame and say this is what Mountain State Wrestling is all about, it would be that move right there, because that was well executed, and it does this old guy good to see the fundamentals of wrestling are still alive and well at Mountain State Wrestling. Kris King, a little hair leverage, Kid Apollo back in the ropes, elbow to the midsection. There's a reversal. Kid Apollo charges in, hits the rope, goes over, leapfrog, and there was an arm drag coming off the rope by Kris King, and that just emphasizes what I know I've been sounding like a broken record these last weeks on Mountain State Wrestling, but that just shows what a great scientific background this kid has learned, because Bobby Blaze is the one that trained him in professional wrestling, so I know. I've wrestled the kid, and he knows exactly what it takes to go out there and wrestle scientifically and not break the rules and still win. There's a couple of duck unders in the clothesline by Kid Apollo, and there's another backdrop. And there it looked like they both went for the arm drag at the same time, and they hit heads, and both a little dazed there, but Kris King manages to come out of that predicament with the side headlock. Actually, it's almost a version of a rear chin lock, but two great athletes out there in the ring right now. And it looks like there could have been definitely a collision of heads to nose or something like that, because there is a little blood flowing out there. But you know, when you got two athletic competitors that are as well versed in wrestling as these two kids are, and as competitive as these kids are, you get them out here on Network West Virginia and MSW on television, then you're going to get 110% from these kids, and that's exactly what you're getting right here in this match. Kris King drives Kid Apollo's head in that turnbuckle, and I do believe it's Kid Apollo that's got does have a little blood coming out of that nose. And actually, I wouldn't know how to react to go to the matches and have Kid Apollo on the card and him not have a bloody nose. For whatever reason, he just can't seem to keep that nose out of harm's way, and he definitely had it done here. There's a snap there and a big super kick, side kick from Kris King into that upper trapezius area of the back of Kid Apollo. Once again, the rear chin lock has him down on the mat. Kid Apollo's, I think, is in a little trouble right here. Kid Apollo trying to get these fans here in Mount Hope behind him. Finally makes his way up to his seat. There's just absolutely no quit in Kid Apollo, and if you get a chance to get out to any of the arenas where Mountain State was wrestling coming to in your area, then you'll only see the best professional wrestling that West Virginia has to offer. You'll see a Christian-oriented, family-oriented production that you just can't beat for entertainment. But anyway, it's more eye gouging and choking from Kris King, and Kid Apollo tries to get a little bit of a firing back going in there. King manages to stop him. There's a chop in the corner and another chop to the chest of Kid Apollo. It looks like he's going to back him up one more time, and I just have a feeling that Kid Apollo's not going to take that. And there's a couple of retaliatory chops, but once again, Kris King managing to get a little eye rake action going out there. And Irish whip the turnbuckle. Boy,
Going up top, baby.
big clothesline coming out of that corner to Kid Apollo. And now Kris King getting up on the top turnbuckle, and have no idea what's on his mind here. He's got quite a repertoire from up there. It looked like it was a leg drop from the top turnbuckle. Unfortunately for Kris King, there was nobody home. Kid Apollo needs to get up on his feet. And once again, another very competitive match between these two great competitors, young competitors. And that's just the type of action you expect to see every week here on Mountain State Wrestling. There, Kid Apollo, a couple of right hands, shoots Kris King in there, and a beautiful scoop slam, power slam coming off that rope. And I believe Kris King is in trouble here. Kid Apollo gets him up once again. There's another right hand to the top of the head. And the Irish whipping the turnbuckle. Kris King manages to reverse that, and Kid Apollo hits hard. His back kind of did a flipping action there, and that lower back hit right on that top turnbuckle there in that corner. And I think Kid Apollo's in a lot of trouble here. Oh, vicious forearm uppercut from Kris King. Goes to shoot his opponent in. Again, another reversal. And once again, well, Kid Apollo comes in there. He gets backdropped out of the ring, and there. Oh my goodness, that's got to be it. Kid Apollo coming off that top rope with a double axe handle. Kris King meeting him with that big super kick. You don't get up from that. The winner of the match with a super kick. Kid Apollo coming off the top turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3. Well executed move, greatly well competed match. There, Kris King gets his light heavyweight championship, and he still remains Mountain State Wrestling's light heavyweight champion. But a tough fought match. We'll be right back with another great match right here on Network West Virginia. Just as I suspected, Johnny Blast and his partner is the Alaskan Assassin Ice. I just refer to him as Ice in short because I'm too old and too feeble-minded to say the Alaskan Assassin Ice every time. But anyway, they are the challengers for the Mountain State Wrestling Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, held by Chad Cross and Derik Billings, who will be making their way to the ring shortly. And I guess we'll have to wait for Johnny Blast to get his 2 cents worth here in the ring. And making their way to the ring. Very, very good up-and-coming team. They are Mountain State Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Chad Cross and Derik Billings. Have been tuning in to Mountain State Wrestling here on Network West Virginia. You do know that Chad and Derik have been involved a little bit with the Bunkhouse Boys, and if you haven't been tuning in, then shame on you. But I just have a feeling that, I don't know, maybe I've just kind of been around wrestling too long, but I just got this deep gut feeling that the Bunkhouse Boys aren't too far away, because I mean the Bunkhouse Boys are really wanting those Mountain State Wrestling Tag Team belts, and they strike me as a couple of guys that would stoop to any means and do anything that it took that was necessary to get those belts. So, you know, if you combine Bunkhouse Boys and Johnny Blast and the Alaskan Assassin Ice, those four have proved to be kind of close friends in and of themselves, so I just got an uneasy feeling going into this match, and it is for the Mountain State Wrestling Tag Team titles. And I can tell you from the voice of experience, whenever tag team titles or any kind of titles are in line, and there's guys out there that'll stoop to any means to get those titles, then anything is possible. And there's the bell, and we're ready to get this tag team championship match underway. Johnny Blast electing to be the starting wrestler for his team, and Chad Cross will start for the tag team champions. And there's a collar elbow tie up. And Johnny Blast moves his man back into the corner, just kind of lays on him there, and you know, if I don't have a heart attack here, that was actually a clean break by Johnny Blast, and the way he's been acting the last couple of months, you know, it is a surprise. Once again, collar elbow tie up, and there's a quick arm drag from Chad Cross, and Johnny Blast finds himself down on the mat. And there's an arm bar and twist, and Chad Cross kind of cinching that in a little bit. Now it's a full arm bar. Tags his partner Derik Billings in, and now Derik gets a chance to, well, we got a little double team maneuver there, and there's a double elbow. Definitely relate to them tactics right there, but 2 count from Johnny Blast. And arm bar and twist, a quick eye poke by Johnny Blast to slow Billings down. Ice comes charging in, drop toe hold by Billings, and hey, he goes for a quick cover. Why not? Just really, it's only about a 1.5 count. I think he's more surprised the drop toe hold for Billings than anything else. But anyway, Billings Irish whipping a turnbuckle, drop kick by Derik Billings. Not a lot of elevation, but definitely got the job done. Put the ice down. Now he comes up with arm bar and twist, and a lot of action here in the opening minutes of this tag team contest. Another tag, dropped it. Well executed, and seen that done that a few times myself, but dropped down high knee to ice. Chad Cross goes for the cover, 2 count, and once again gets to the arm bar. Remember, every week right here at Network West Virginia, 8 o'clock, Mountain State Wrestling, and Johnny Blast, they managed to secure a tag. Ice did, but Blast comes in, a drop toe hold meted him, and a little extra damage to the left knee of Johnny Blast. Chad Cross tags Billings back in, and that is the key to tag team wrestling is you try to keep a fresh man in the ring at all times while trying to keep just one of your opponents in the ring and wear him down. And that is the psychology philosophy that Cross and Billings are using now, but Johnny Blast kind of slowed Billings down a little bit. There's an Irish whip into the turnbuckle. Comes charging in, but that size 18 comes up there. Believe me, it's a legitimate size 18. To the chin of Johnny Blast, just a 2 count. Ice tries to come in and break it up, but Blast did manage to get out of that. Once again, Billings back to the armbar. Irish whip in the turnbuckle, goes for a backdrop, and I think Billings went down just a little too soon there because Johnny Blast was able to stop and deliver a kick right there in the sternum to Billings, and that definitely slowed him down. Now there's a vicious head slam to that turnbuckle there. Another forearm into the back, and you know, Johnny Blast loves these kind of situations because he has his man stunned a little bit, he slowed him down a little bit, and he gets a chance to add a little extra additional punishment, as you just saw right there. And, you know, made the legal tag to Ice, but just had to get one more cheap shot in there just for a little extra damage. And there's a blatant chokehold by Ice, and referee just immediately breaks that up. But you know, Billings in a bad way right here, and there's a vicious slam, and there's a flying elbow drop down to Derik Billings, and Ice delivers that with effective, very much effective damage. Once again, another tag here by Ice and Johnny Blast after Ice running the head in there, and there's a double team, just multiple kicks to the midsection, and Chad Cross needs to come in here, and he does try to get in there, take care of his partner. Of course, the only problem with that is the referee's concentrating on getting you out of the ring, and while he's got his back turns, you know, guys like Johnny Blast and guys like Ice, they're going to get in just a little, as much extra damage as they can, and you know, and there's a short knee to the midsection after an Irish whip, and there it is again from Johnny Blast, and looks like he's getting ready to get him set for a suplex, and vertical suplex by Johnny Blast. Hooks the far leg, and that was a real close 2 count right there, but Billings managed to get shoulders up for the 3 count, snap there, and now it's a reverse bow and arrow by Johnny Blast, and tag team champions a little bit trouble right now. Fans here in Mount Hope getting behind Derik Billings. He is making his way up to his feet. A couple of quick elbows, and that was just a blatant hair pull by Johnny Blast. And there's no excuse for that, but when he has the opportunity, and there Ice baiting Chad Cross coming in the ring, and you know, Chad just needs to get out of the ring because the referee's not going to turn his back to the action till he gets Cross out of the ring. And of course, once again, that provides an opportunity for Ice and Johnny Blast to get some extra damage in, and you know, that's just the way that tag team wrestling is. And you have to accept that when you go out in the ring every night as a tag team, and you know, there's nothing you do about it but overcome it. And right now, what Billings has to do is overcome that reverse bow and arrow that Ice has really cinched in with his foot in the nape of that neck there. Billings trying to make his way up to the feet. He does make his way up to the feet. There's a couple of elbows. He managed to duck that clothesline. He ducks another clothesline, and there was a double clothesline that sent both competitors crashing down to the canvas. And I'm telling you, they were hitting those ropes at very good speed, and when they had that collision there in the middle of the ring, well, that'll send the stars to you every time. right now, both competitors trying to get up to their feet. Billings definitely needs to get over to Cross. They both make a tag. And Chad Cross comes in, and it's just Fist City. There's a clothesline to Ice. There's a clothesline to Johnny Blast. Now Derik Billings comes in. We've got all four competitors in the ring. And Ice tries to drop hold. Billings gets him out of the ring. It's just Chad Cross and Johnny Blast in the ring. There, Billings. There's a reverse flare, and the referee goes crashing down. And this can't be good for Derik Billings and Chad Cross, but Billings manages to send Ice with, and what did I tell you? There's bunkhouse. And there's a flying press, buddy press from one of the bunkhouse boys. The Bandit comes out there trying to interfere, and I just had a feeling this was coming. There's a Russian leg sweep, excellently executed by Chad Cross on Johnny Blast. Now we've got the Bandit out there. We've got Chad Cross. Now Kris King is coming into the picture. Boy, everybody's after these guys. Oh, and there's a defensive super kick. There, Chad Cross got pushed off that top turnbuckle, and Johnny Blast with a pile driver. Oh my goodness, what's going on? There's just the referee. It's just total chaos right here. And there's 1, 2, 3. And I am just disgusted with what just happened right here. I just knew when this thing started. I think I told you all that I had a really bad feeling about this. Somewhere or another, the bunkhouse boys will be involved in this, and somebody needs to come out here and help out Chad and Derik, and just goes to show that Johnny Blast, Ice, Kris King involved in it. The bunkhouse boys, they'll stoop to any level. Either hurt people or get titles and do both. We'll get you right back to more Mountain State Wrestling right after.